Journalism has been terminally ill for a long time now, but maybe you thought it was only in the realm of TV, movies, politics, where a certain type of view gets praised by the access media, and anybody that doesn't agree with it is branded an undesirable review bomber. I'm sorry to tell you that it is everywhere, even in the world of books. Yes, not even the humble book nerd is safe from the journalism industry and its insatiable need to root out tradition in the name of subversion and modernity. To the point, an article appeared in Wired last week about this successful author, Brandon Sanderson. I was going to say famous author, but unless you read fantasy books, he's not super famous. But he is rich, and a man, and white, and religious.
A Mormon, in fact.
And so, Jason Cahey, a journalist, I believe you would call him.
You see the quotations I'm making with my claw hands? It means I don't believe you.
He was on a muckraking mission to go expose the dark, seedy underbelly of this book nerd's empire. I'm going to link the article in the description. I do recommend you read the entire thing, even though it is 4,000 words long, because I think it's a good idea to get the entirety of somebody's point, instead of just grabbing little clips like I'm about to do here, because I need to save time. Before I forget, in the cup today is the Brooklyn Bean Roastery Maple Sleigh. It's not sponsored. My brother and sister-in-law just sent me a gift basket, and that is in my Ravenclaw mug, because we're talking about nerdy book shit. That's a top 3 mug right there. So first, we've got the teaser that he is a fantasy author and also very Mormon, which are profoundly related. Now, at the end of the article, after pretending he had a point for like 3,700 words, he tries to do this mic drop thing about Mormonism, which does not land. We'll get to that really cool mic drop, but I also just want to point out he's never described as like devoutly Mormon, faithfully Mormon. He's very Mormon, extremely Mormon. That's weird. So the first line is about how much money Sanderson has. His money, houses, general fame, they're all brought up several times, and the bitterness drips from every word. This article follows the modern journalistic trend of just saying how much money somebody has and then assuming that the audience will agree it must be shady because rich man obviously bad. But we quickly get the truth from Jason. He needs an exciting story and Sanderson ain't it. The man is an open book. He's just a big happy nerd with a tight schedule, a love for writing, and no dark secrets. He writes in the article that he doesn't have a story and he's upset about it. But modern journalism requires outrage. They have to get you upset about something. I want to level with you guys real quick. I live in fear of falling into this trap. There are many successful channels that are just mad all the time about everything. Yeah, just nonstop pissed about every new show, movie, any kind of pop culture thing. You guys know the kind of channels that I'm talking about. I'm genuinely panicked that one day I might run out of ideas and then I'm going to have to make a video about Abby from The Last of Us 2 and how her arms are too big or some dumb shit. One nice thing, and I want to fluff you guys up here a little bit, is that I get a lot of ideas from the comments. I harvest the comment section shamelessly. And I just want to say, I really appreciate you guys. But anyway, this guy is trying to get us mad about Mormonism. But first, he's going to insult Sanderson and his entire fan base. So we begin by insulting his writing quality, which, you know, his entire career is built on. Now, I don't really read enough to call myself a booktuber, but if you look across BookTube, you will find a lot of critiques about this man's simple style of writing. Maybe it is, I don't know. I've never disliked it, I've never had a problem with it. But as I said, I'm not an expert, so maybe I just don't know better. But this isn't a critique. I find Jason's attitude so ridiculous here. It is an absurd condescension that is so common in journalism these days. Well, you poor peasants just don't realize how simple his prose is. He writes at a 6th grade level. Hey, Jason, go eat a dick. There's some simple prose.
A whole bag of them.
I get really riled up about people who try to build a personality out of being superior at subjective shit like wine. I reviewed a Sanderson book a couple weeks ago, and somebody wrote me 2 paragraphs in the comments about how terrible YA is and how it's horrible. I shouldn't read it. It's immature. It's bad for you. Blah, 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 blah. Look how mature this guy is. He doesn't read young adult fiction.
See, nobody cares.
I don't know. You want a fucking cookie? Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. I just really hate intellectual gatekeeping. If you're a person that likes to read young adult fiction, you're still reading, which is better than half of adults who say they haven't read a book in the last year. So read your fucking Maze Runner. Maybe the language isn't as beautiful as Wuthering Heights, but it's also not fucking boring and depressing. I mean, it is a little depressing. The point is, just enjoy your life. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the rage bait that I'm talking about with journalism. If this article had been a critique of his sentence structure, that would be one thing. As it is, there's like 3 sentences devoted to giving examples of his inferior prose. The rest of the article is just trying to cast him in a bad light because there's not an interesting story here, as he admits several times. But the condescension doesn't stop there. He also looks down on Sanderson's audience of fantasy nerds. We see this attitude in movie journalism a lot. If you didn't like that Pixar put a lesbian couple in Lightyear, guess what? You're a dinosaur. If you don't fawn all over Blacked in America, you're just not with the times, you fucking caveman. You just aren't sophisticated enough to enjoy diverse movies. And so we see a similar attitude toward convention goers and cosplayers when the author was at Sanderson's annual convention. He describes the warm body odor smell and all of the unself-conscious people. I guess he thought they should be self-conscious? I don't know if you guys remember, but punching down on convention goers didn't work out real well for Jamie Kennedy, and it's not coming off any better in this article. He interviews a bunch of people at the con, and they all say the same 2 things. They like Sanderson's characters, and they like how good he is at world building. I would like to add 2 more things. I think his endings are excellent, and his magic systems make sense. They have solid rules. Then, hold on, Jason points out that nobody at Sanderson's convention complained about his writing quality. Fucking shocker! People who traveled to Salt Lake City and paid to go to his convention didn't complain about his writing. This is scoop of the fucking century right here. Okay. Condescension continues to ooze from every paragraph, right down to the food in Utah. He says they met for lunch at a Chinese place one day and had some previously frozen dim sum. Then they met again for dinner at a Japanese place, and he could have cried when Sanderson salted his ramen and his son salted his yakisoba. Oh yeah, Jason is that guy that knows more about foreign food than you proles. Jesus. This is the kind of guy that you can't go get Vietnamese soup with because he's going to loudly say that it's pho the entire time, so you know he knows. All right, so finally we get to the shocking reveal. Brandon is a Mormon! No, we already knew that part. Okay, he makes a connection between Sanderson building worlds in his books and the Mormon belief that they will be given worlds to rule over as gods. He writes this like it is the most profound statement anyone has connected in the history of thought. He acts as though he alone has just opened Sanderson's eyes to this subconscious fact that drives him. And then he tries to make some kind of connection like Sanderson is our God because we read his books or something. I genuinely don't know where he was trying to go here. The article goes on, there's a whole lot more insulting shit, but you get the idea. It's another shallow article for rage clicks. I mean, they got one, but the cost was another shovelful of dirt on journalism's grave. Let me know if you read the article and what your thoughts are, or another time you can think of where a so-called expert tried to drum up drama for no reason at all. I appreciate you watching as always. I'll see you next time.